Have you ever tried to call on a doctor only to hear the words from the receptionist, "He doesn't see sales reps"? You probably have. In fact, as time goes on, you're more likely to hear it on an increasing basis. So the big question is, what do you do when you face that situation? Now, some of you who are in tune with the latest techniques and strategies and tools for communicating with your prospects and customers, you probably say, well, if I can't get in to see him, what I'll probably do is I'll send him something like an email. Or maybe I'll mail him a letter, go old school, because doctors are likely to open a letter. Or maybe I'll send him one of those newfangled personal videos. Certainly, he'll pay attention to that. And those are all good options. Some of you might be thinking, hey, you know what? I'll contact him on social media. Again, another good option, provided a couple of things with social media. Number one, that the doctor spends time on social media. And number two, that you're able to communicate with him in a personalized and relevant way such that he wants to engage with you. And even if you're sending a personalized video or doing anything else, if all you're doing is pitching a product, what you're doing is you're reaffirming that doctor's commitment not to see sales reps. It's making it more personalized for him to tell you no. So what should you do? You see, there's something which matters a lot more than the means by which you try to communicate. And that is the message. The message matters more. So you might be thinking, well, if I don't pitch my product, then what's the message? What do I talk about? Great question. Thank you for asking. Let me share an example with you. Back when I was selling orthopedic implants, there was a high volume surgeon in my territory, did a lot of hips and knees, and every rep wanted to spend time with him. There was only one problem, and yes, if you've been listening to this video, you've guessed it. He had a policy in his office. He did not see sales reps. So I'm thinking, well, this is great. High volume doctor, I can't call on him. I approached him in the hospital, said, Dr. S, I'll call him Dr. S, is it possible to make an appointment with you? And he said, I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to see sales reps. If there's something I want to talk to you about, I'll get in touch with you. So that's how that went. Well, one day I was called in on the weekend to cover a surgery, and the scrub tech, Marcy, who was scrubbing the case, she was Dr. S's usual scrub tech on his hips and knees. So I started asking her some questions as I was unwrapping trays for her. Yes, that's something that we sales reps used to do back in the day. We used to actually unwrap trays, and some of you probably do that today, although if your companies knew about that, they wouldn't be too happy with it. But I digress. So anyway, I said, Marcy, I understand Dr. S is a really good surgeon. I've never seen him operate. Do you enjoy working with him? And she said, yeah, she enjoyed working with him a lot. He was a meticulous surgeon, paid a lot of attention to detail. And she said if there was anything that kind of made him difficult to work with, it was the fact that he was a perfectionist. In other words, he would spend time really trying to get everything right. I said, could you give me an example? She said, well, when he's doing a total hip, for example, he's fastidious about the leg lengths. He wants to get the leg lengths perfect. In fact, he'll sometimes even apologize for taking so long to do that. And when Marcy told me this, I said, this is great. Now I have something to talk to Dr. S about, because I know that he is meticulous about leg lengths. So what I did was I communicated with Dr. S using a really interesting bit of technology that you might want to try. And that is writing a note on a piece of paper, folding it, and handing it to the receptionist in his office and said, could you please give this to Dr. S? And she resisted. She said, well, he doesn't see sales reps. I go, no. This is an important message. You got to get it to him. Would you please do that? Just take it to him. Tell me he got it, and I will leave. So she takes the message back. She comes back out, and she says, he says, go on back. So I go back to Dr. S, and I had a device that I was very excited to show him. It was a device for getting leg lengths equal or lengthening them, whatever. It was a special leg length caliper. I showed this to him, and he was really into it. And he said, I want you to take this over to the hospital. Tell him I'd like to try it out on my next few cases. And this was great. And it wasn't great because I sold this device to Dr. S and actually to the hospital for them to use with Dr. S. But when I went in during the evaluations, I got to spend time with Dr. S. And what happened was I was able to determine what's important to him when he's doing surgery, when he's seeing his patients. In other words, what it is that he values. And having this understanding, I was able to use it to get time with this doctor who, quote unquote, didn't see sales reps almost any time I needed to. So what is the takeaway message for all of this? Well, the message is, it's not the medium that you use to communicate with doctors or other healthcare professionals. Use whatever works for you. Use whatever will get their attention. But what matters more than the medium is the message. Finding out what your customer deeply cares about and communicating that to them in the most personalized way is what's going to help you to gain traction and get time and get through to these prospects. You know, you might use something like a personalized video or an email or even a letter, and it might not work. But you can use any of those things with the right message, or even a note, a folded note that you scribbled a message on. If it's the right message, it will get through. It's about doing your homework. It's about finding out what matters to your prospects and your customers, and then delivering that value to them on a consistent basis. If you do this, you are going to be successful. I promise you that. And if you'd like to have this in an article format, I'm going to write it out and post it on the blog at medicalsalestraining.com. So you can have it for yourself. You can share it with people in your organization. Leave me a comment here. Let me know if this was helpful. And if there's some other information that you would like to hear about, please let me know that as well, because I'm here to help you succeed as a medical sales professional. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time, and get out there and make a difference. And don't forget, no matter what you do, the patient always comes first. Talk to you soon.